And we are back. Hope you had a good weekend. I certainly did. Didn't get anything done, but you don't have to on weekends. It is Monday, 9th day of September 2024. I am Dan Coots. Very mild at 72 degrees. Outside of our studios, we had some pretty dirty air over the weekend. We told you all about this on Friday. The smoke coming up from the wildfires in Oregon and in southwestern Idaho. That smoke came up here. It kept the temperatures down a little bit. We did tie a record high on Saturday. We got to 93, and that tied the record high on September 7th. We didn't get to a new record on Friday nor on Sunday. Again, the haze and the smoke filtered out some of the sunlight, so we didn't have that much of a direct hit of sun. And we're going to be warm one more time today. We're going to be pushing 90, and then noticeably cooler temperatures are heading our way. Can even see a little bit of rain on Wednesday. Don't bet on it. Well, we might. It's going to be a little windy at times as well. So things are going to start transitioning to autumn. It's going to start feeling a little more autumnal as the week progresses. We'll have those forecast details. We'll have sports. Seahawks won yesterday. Mariners won yesterday. Huskies won over the weekend. Cougars won over the weekend. A lot of winning. We'll recap the weekend that was in sports as we are now full bore into September. All the high school sports are fired up and going. We'll have that. And Wednesday, day after tomorrow at 11 a.m. at the Spirit of America Memorial, I guess is the best way to put it, at Riverside Park in Kashmir. They will have the 9/11 commemoration ceremonies that they've been doing every year since they opened up this rather sobering and awe-inspiring facility. The Spirit of America 9/11 Memorial will be, the ceremonies will be held on Wednesday, and I had a chance to talk to the chairman of this year's committee, our friend Doug Jones, who of course is also the executive director of Rivercom when he's not busy doing other things, and our old friend Norma Gallegos from Hand to Hand Immigration Services. They'll be swearing in some new American citizens before the ceremony begins at 11 o'clock. So Norma and Doug will be my guests in the back half of the program, and as we go through our cameras, I'll give you a little idea where we are on the AQI scale. It's not too bad. It was worse over the weekend. I was really hoping I could go through like an entire summer without having to talk about the air quality. Right now in Wenatchee, our air quality is at 81. That is moderate. That's not bad. You can see it looks a little hazy there. And it is a little hazy. 81 is not bad. It gets better as the day progresses. We're at 81 now. It was worse than that. It was unhealthy for sensitive groups a few times yesterday, especially in the morning. So it's a little bit better. Not great, but a little bit better. Let's head on up to Lake Wenatchee. They don't have a air quality monitor up there. The closest one they have is in Leavenworth, and it's 72 there. But it looks like the area is a little bit cleaner up in the Lake Wenatchee area on the AQI scale. Beautiful view there, looking over the beautiful lake, which I haven't been up to at all this year. Now, we're going to show you the billy goat camera, and you go, boy, that's really dirty air. But that's kind of a misnomer because there's just so much land that you're looking at there and so much sky. It looks worse than it actually is. It's still not real good. In Omak here, it's 77, so your air quality is actually better than us. But right now in Brewster, it's 106. That's unhealthy for sensitive groups. And leading the parade, unfortunately, is Winthrop. Your air quality is 129 on the AQI scale. That is unhealthy for sensitive groups. It doesn't look very pretty up there, but again, it's not that bad as it looks. It looks worse than it actually is. You go a little south and it's not too bad. We're gonna head on down to just outside Royal City. Their air quality is considerably better than ours. They are at 72 on the AQI scale. Again, it's 81 in Wenatchee. So good view there. I really wanted to go all summer long without having to talk about the air quality. The air quality was at its worst over the weekend. It got a little bit better. We hit 88 yesterday. 93 was our high on Saturday. That tied a record. We were supposed to break record highs on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We only did it on Saturday because the hazy skies kept the sun from really beating down. You'll notice it's going to be a little breezy today. These are some gusts. Could be up there a little bit. It's not going to be too bad. It really depends on where you're at. It is going to be a little on the breezy side. Right now we have the wind out of the west-northwest at 18 miles an hour. It's pretty windy in Ellensburg right now. Everybody else is fairly calm, but this is a marine layer that's going to move in. That big dome of high pressure is already getting knocked out of position. So outside of the haze this morning, we're going to have quite a bit of sunshine. It's going to be warm, but it's going to be a little breezy today Tuesday and Wednesday. But we're also going to cool down a lot, considering our normal high is 80 and we've been into the 90s for the last few days. At least there's that. Chance of rain on Wednesday and maybe Thursday as this marine air pushes in. That's your chances, your odds of rain Wednesday and Thursday. Not great, but good enough. Wenatchee, an 18% chance of precipitation. Whatever it is, it would be light to moderate rain. Moses Lake, a 14% chance of some wet stuff coming down. Chelan, 25%. Omak, 30%. The farther north you go or the farther east you go, the better chance of measurable rain. Probably won't get any in the Wenatchee Valley, but we could use it. The one thing you are going to notice as we work our way through the forecast week, it's going to finally start feeling like autumn. From the National Weather Service, once the haze burns off and clears out, we'll see some sunshine. We'll top off at about 89. Again, pretty hazy as it usually is in the early morning hours and then late in the afternoon, early evening hours. That's when the haze is at its worst. And the northwest wind about 5 to 14 miles an hour. Partly cloudy tonight, a little breezy, 59 for the overnight low. We start the cool down on Tuesday as the marine air moves in. Lots of sunshine, high of 84, very pleasant. And then things really change. On Wednesday night, chance of rain, lots of clouds. On Tuesday night, I should say. Wednesday, we have about a 40% chance of rain, so they tell us. We'll see, high near 71. Wednesday night, maybe some light rain, 53 for the overnight low. Then we drop down to 76. Then we'll have a right around 77, 76, 77, 75 with quite a bit of sunshine. That's actually about normal for this time of the year. So 2 more days of above normal temperatures, and with the wind coming in, we should be done with the bad air by this time tomorrow. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we got the news. You're watching a Monday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa, located on South Wenatchee Ave, has the largest selection of spas and swim spas in town. Stay cool this summer in an artesian swim spa and use it all year long. We enjoy helping families reconnect one spa at a time. Hot tubs are proven to improve sleep and decrease arthritis pain. Our passion is water, so please bring us a water sample, and we will help you diagnose your pool or spa water for free. Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa, your pool and spa experts.
Riley Gaines, the All-American female swimmer at the University of Kentucky, is our guest speaker for the Chelan County Republican Lincoln Day Dinner and Fundraiser, September 22nd at 6 p.m. at the Wenatchee Convention Center. Riley's call to action is to defend and protect America's daughters from competing with and sharing locker rooms with biological men. Join us for an exciting evening with Riley Gaines and support our local candidates. VIP event at 5, dinner at 6. Go to Chelan County Lincoln Day at gmail.com for tickets.
Paid for by the Chelan County Republican Central Committee.
The family at the Epladolin want to help your loved one feel at ease in their new home environment. Epladolin offers beautiful one-bedroom and studio apartments. Residents enjoy 3 delicious home-style meals a day, laundry service, housekeeping service, and encouragement to make themselves cozy in their new home. Epladolin welcomes your family to come and visit their family. Epladolin, independent and assisted living. They make the complicated easy for you. Call today for a tour.
Springwater Insurance Group is an independent insurance agency focusing on teaching those of you on Medicare or soon to be joining Medicare plans. Now, we don't work for any insurance companies, we work for you. It's nice that insurance plans you eventually join pay us for teaching you your plan choices. That means our services are free to you. We have 5 offices throughout North Central Washington providing customer service Monday through Friday. Give us a call at 509-888-2600.
It's mild, it's 72 degrees, a little hazy. As you can see there, the haze will clear out a little bit. We'll be pushing 90 for the afternoon high, then we start cooling down. As the week progresses, could even see a few raindrops by the middle of the week. It's 9 minutes after the hour. A former East Wenatchee police officer is charged with second-degree assault, an unlawful display of a weapon after allegedly pointing a handgun at another motorist while driving near the Vantage Bridge. 40-year-old Landon D. Jensen faces trial in November in Kittitas County Court. Back on June 18th, Washington State Patrol troopers stopped a Tesla that Jensen was driving on I-90 after he allegedly pointed a Glock pistol at a commercial truck driver while the 2 vehicles were trying to merge in the bridge construction area of the Vantage Bridge. Jensen joined the East Wenatchee Police Department as a patrol officer back in December of 2020 after working for the Seattle Police Force. Police Chief Rick Johnson says Jensen resigned from the East Wenatchee Police Department in the middle of last month. Rescuers rushed to Tumwater Canyon outside Leavenworth Friday morning to aid a fallen climber. Sergeant Jason Reinfeld, he's the coordinator of Chelan County Emergency Management. He says the fall happened at about 7:30 in the morning on Friday. It's a popular climbing route on Castle Rock. The climber, a 43-year-old woman, had fallen approximately 25 feet and suffered a significant head injury. The rescue required a rope system and aid from Wenatchee Valley Fire, Chelan County Fire District 3, and Cascade Medical Center paramedics, as well as Chelan County Sheriff's deputies. The patient was moved into a litter from the point where she fell back into the Columbia Rock Trail. Then she was taken by ambulance to Confluence Health Hospital. Reinfeld said the climber's current condition is not known. The Moses Lake School Board passed a resolution on Thursday asking athletic and elected officials to, quote, correct the current situation, end quote. The current situation, transgender inclusion in sports. The resolution is similar to one passed by the Eastmont School Board back in August in response to a parent effort to have the WIAA amend its policy on transgender athlete participation. The WIAA's handbook says all students have the opportunity to participate in athletics consistent with their gender identity. Like Eastmont's resolution, the Moses Lake School District says the current policies and state laws are, quote, not working, end quote, for students, especially as Title IX regulation promotes equality and fairness in female sports. To spur the WIAA to review its policy, 5 school districts will have to sign on to an amendment request by October 11th. Cascade Veterinary Clinic is hosting a ribbon-cutting ceremony and party Wednesday. They're going to celebrate the grand opening of their largest location yet. From 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock on Wednesday, local residents are invited to the new clinic on 4th Street. They're going to have tours of the facility. You can meet the staff. The first 50 people who show up get a T-shirt. There'll be free tacos to the first 100 people. East Wenatchee Mayor Geraldine Crawford will be there, along with many local pet-oriented vendors. The new clinic will offer the same services as the old clinic in East Wenatchee. It's just a lot bigger. And Loop Trail Cafe officially opened near the end of July. It's been serving the visitors down on the Wenatchee riverfront. We caught up with owner Diana Hall to talk about how business has been since first opening the doors along the Apple Capital Recreational Loop Trail.
Well, it's something I have been thinking about. We were looking for the location, and we found this little spot, and the name came about to it. We was going to be roundabout, but we were like, no. Loop Trail Cafe came about when my husband and I saw this place, and we jumped on it because of the location. It's just beautiful. We only started out with hot dogs and melts, and I let the customers decide. When I come in, what would you suggest? And when I'm in here at 6:30, what would you like to see on the menu? And they said breakfast sandwiches, breakfast burritos. So I had the ingredients, and I just might buy a couple more things, and we put it together for the customers that come around and let me know what they would like to see. That's how it's growing. It's growing even bigger, too, into a dinner menu. Salad bar coming, soup, be all-you-can-eat salad bar. Soup, chicken wings, and stuff your baked potato menu. It's like your own dining room away from home. You know, it's our dining room. I tell people this is our place. But we soft opened for the offices at the end of July, the last week. We had to wait for all of our, we wanted to be open July 1st, but we had to wait for all of our equipment. That took time. So the end of July, we did a soft opening and figured out what my clients above me would like to have on the menu. So then I softly opened was a week after the first, or the second weekend after August, we opened back up to the public, and I warmed up with them, started getting to know the joggers, the hikers, and the little children that are coming in. My children's menu has grown, so that's exciting when part comes in, I'll be able to grow my menu with those children, those families, and yeah, just warm up to it. And I personally think that people should stick in family rates of what families can afford. And they should get a little something with, if they're going to order a sandwich, they should get something with that sandwich. I've been many places eating and stuff, and I left hungry, with just a sandwich. And you're like, I want more, but if it costs more, each person go up $40, $50. I pretty much look at families because I raised, 4 kids, and I know what it's like to struggle. And so if they put like something on sale, and to bring them in to appreciate the customers, appreciate them, love them, because they bring their service in to you, and we can't survive without them, and their smiley faces and their loving hearts. And when they come in and then they just get a sandwich and you see them walk out, and if they're not satisfied with what they get, I give them a little more. No problem. You want more chips? Are you still hungry? Especially kids. If they look and they want a little more ice cream or sprinkles, give it to them. Kids are precious, and they're my customers too, and so are the doggies. And I got little doggy biscuits for them. We put doggy water out there. My customers too. They pull the owners over here too. It's funny to watch. My dog knows you. I say, remember you stopped for a treat a couple of weeks ago? Oh yeah. And they're like, well, come on in. Are you thirsty? Would you like a glass of water or something? And 9 times out of 10, they're going to get something out, like a cookie, and that what's all matters. Their heart walks out big, and they come back with a big smile.
Well, I'm hungry. Of course, I've been up since 4 o'clock in the morning. I should be hungry by now, or actually 3 is when I got up this morning. I've been up for 4 hours. Well, that's part of me doing morning television. And that is the news, and we will have the news for you tonight at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock on television. 5, 6, and 10. We'll have our news up and running via the World Wide Web. It'll be on our homepage, ncwlife.com, our YouTube page, our Facebook page. We try to make it as easy as possible for you to find our news. We have an app. You can download it. And if there's something out there you think is newsworthy, you get a hold of us. Send us an email, news@ncwlife.com. Good weekend for the local football teams. Don't believe me? I'll prove it to you. In 2 minutes, you're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
I'm Jen Mueller. Watch for my show, I Cook, You Measure on NCW Life. It's part cooking instruction, part entertainment, and all about connecting over food and wine with your favorite Northwest athletes.
Watch I Cook, You Measure with Jen Mueller Mondays at 1, Wednesdays at 2, Fridays at 11 a.m., and Saturday and Sundays at 10:30 p.m. right here on the NCW Life channel.
Hey there, folks. Blueberry Carrie here to invite you on out to experience Blueberry Hills. Of course, the food is fabulous, like our cheese splints, our famous French dip, our legendary Eggs Benedict, and unforgettable burgers. But we're more than just great food. People come from all over the world to experience what's been called one of the best destination restaurants in the Pacific Northwest. So come on out and see what all the fuss is about. Blueberry Hills in Manson. It's where the world is coming to.
There's no place like home, because home is where we're totally comfortable. It's where we can be ourselves and let our guards down. It's where we make memories, and we're always imagining new ways to keep it totally comfortable. Carrier, total comfort, totally happy.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Alpine Air. Heat and air, call Alpine Air.
Building. It's in our blood. Building something out of nothing. It takes heart, grit, and hard work. At One Way Construction, our crew is our family. With decades of contracting experience and our in-house design team, we bring a unique perspective to building. We know that if we work together, we are capable of reaching heights that are impossible to reach alone. The possibilities are endless.
20 minutes after the hour, it was an ugly first half, but it turned into a pretty darn good second half yesterday. Seahawks are racing a 13-0 deficit, and they go on to beat the Broncos at Lumen Field. The final was 26-20 yesterday. Of course, Mike McDonald making his debut as the head coach of the Seahawks. Kenneth Walker III rushed for 84 of his 103 yards and a touchdown in the second half, including 53 yards on 5 carries on Seattle's first drive of the second half. That was capped by a 23-yard touchdown run. Geno Smith ran for a 34-yard touchdown in the second quarter. That's the longest run of his career. And he also hit Zach Charbonnet on a 30-yard touchdown pass on the first play of the fourth quarter. That gave Seattle a 26-13 lead. They go on to win 26-20. The Seahawks will play at New England next Sunday morning. As far as the NFC West scoreboard, well, look who's undefeated in first place. Well, the Seahawks and the Chargers, for that matter, and maybe after tonight, the 49ers. Seahawks beat the Broncos. Chargers got by the Raiders. It took overtime, but the Lions beat the Rams. The Jets and the 49ers is the Monday night game tonight at 5:15 on ABC and ESPN. As far as the Mariners are concerned, Randy Arozarena and Jorge Polanco hit 2-run home runs. Mariners scored 5 times in the first inning and cruised from there 10-4 over the Cardinals yesterday. After getting shut out for the 9th time this season on Saturday, Seattle started the game with 5 straight hits and all 5 batters scored.
There's Cal Raleigh. He's DHing today, batting second. 29 home runs on the year for Cal. This is on the ground and works its way into center field. Julio's being waved in. 2 batters into the ball game, and the Mariners are in front 1-0.
And that is what you like to see. Cal get another base hit right back up the middle to drive in a run. No problem for Julio and his speed.
So great to see them put a run across early and a chance for more. This is smoked out to the gap in right center field. Cal trots home. Meanwhile, Arozarena races to third. He's making the turn and headed home. Luke Raley drives in 2 more runs for the Mariners. It's a 2-run stand-up double, and the Mariners in business right away. It's 3-0 in the first inning. Still nobody out.
Great start for him. An exit velo of 108, so he hit it right on the button.
There's Mitch Garver, 2 outs and 2 on. Into left field for a base hit. Raley is in. Turner, he's on his way home to score from second base. And Mitch Garver has added once again to this Mariners lead. 5-0 with 2 outs in the first inning.
And a solid base hit, pitch up in the zone. We'll give him 108 on it. He drives in a couple of runs.
1 down, 1 aboard for Arozarena. Out to left field, sailing back and gone into the seats. Randy Arozarena, the former Cardinal, for a heartbeat, sends this into the crowd, and the Mariners continue to pour it on. 2 more runs in on a home run from Arozarena. It's 7-0.
So Randy and Julio having a good day. Exit velo of 110, 390 feet on a line.
With 2 outs, the single and the walk. Facing Lars Nootbaar. This is a fair ball, and it's tackled behind the bag from Turner, who dives, and he slaps the bag with his glove for out number 3. A tremendous play from 39-year-old Justin Turner, getting it done at first base. Out towards center field. Ciani is turning, watching, and this is gone. Jorge Polanco rides a 2-run homer out of here. The Mariners get those runs right back. What a day for this Mariners lineup.
It has been.
Second home run today, both 2-run shots. First to Arozarena and now Polanco.
Exit velo of 109 on that, 419 feet. Yes, agreed.
2 for the Padres, 3 with the Yankees. This is into left field for a base hit. Raley scores easily. Rivas races to third. Held there. J.P. Crawford slides into second base.
Nice to add on.
It's a 10 spot today for the Mariners. And J.P. reaching for the third. Or pardon me, he says, "Would you like me to sign your book?" I said,
which is a nice thing.
I would love it. And so he puts pen to paper and he looks up to me and he says, "Is that Eric with a C or a K?"
The Mariners return home to face San Diego. Not the Pardes. That's a typo. That's my fault. George Kirby, by the way, will start the opener on Tuesday night. So there's just 18 games left in the regular season. Where are we? Well, there's the scoreboard from yesterday. Thank you, Diamondbacks, doubling up on the Astros. Rangers beat the Angels. Tigers all over the Athletics. So right now, as of this morning, the Mariners are 4.5 games behind Houston for the American League West. They are 3.5 games behind for the third and final wild card spot with 18 games still to be played. College football over the weekend, no problems really for the Huskies or the Cougars. Washington rolled over Eastern Michigan 30-9 at Husky Stadium and at Martin Field. It was Washington State over Texas Tech 37-16. Eastern lost to Drake in overtime. The final there was 35-32. Central Washington went down to San Diego and lost 26-7. Don't forget the Apple Cup is this weekend. 12:30 at Lumen Field, the home of the Seahawks, Huskies, and the Cougars. And by the way, that's only available to watch on Peacock. Don't shoot the messenger. High school football from over the weekend. You see the Eastmont Bonnie Lake. Eastmont did beat Bonnie Lake, by the way, 34-16. Wanted to mention that. Outside of that, Wenatchee late comeback, but not enough as they lost to Lake City, 26-14. Battleground over Eisenhower. It was Skyline over Sunnyside in Big 9 football. In overtime, Rogers knocked off Davis 29-28. North Creek got by West Valley in Big 9 football. And Rigby High School out of Idaho just crushed Moses Lake 47-12. As far as the South Central Athletic Conference is concerned, we follow them now because that's where Cashmere is, and Cashmere just rolled over Wapato 56-0. Royal crushing Kiona Benton 65-0. No real surprise there. Zilla nipped Connell in overtime. It was Wahluke over Natchez Valley, and College Place defeated Weston McEwen. As far as the CWAC is concerned over the weekend, something like this. Toppenish. Yes, Toppenish. They beat Grandview 17-6. It was East Valley over Riverview 50-0. That was on Thursday. Friday, Othello no real problems with Ellensburg. Ephrata got by Prosser 15-14. Sela beat Quincy 59-0. Caribou Trail League. There you go. All non-leaguers. Jenkins out of Chewelah knocked off Chelan. Okanagan wins the backyard brawl 55-6. Liberty Bell over Cascade 44-0. Central Washington 2B. Football, there are your winners. Colfax over Lake Roosevelt. Okanagan's a winner. Also Reardon over Brewster. Liberty Bell just crushed Cascade in Peshastin. Kettle Falls beat Tenasket. Waterville Mansfield over Bridgeport. And Cle Elum over Manson. And in the 1Bs, Sunnyside Christian over Moses Lake Christian. It was Waterville Mansfield over Bridgeport. Soap Lake beat St. John Endicott. And over the weekend, by the way, Antioch actually played in Chelam and they won 34-22. Can't forget about the ladies. Prep volleyball scoreboard. Last year, the Wenatchee Panthers lost one match on their way to the state 4A championship. That was to Gonzaga last year. They got their revenge at the Wenatchee High School gym on Saturday. They swept Gonzaga Prep 3-0. Moses Lake got by Hermiston 3-2. Chelan over Ellensburg. Cashmere over College Place. And on the pitch, Wenatchee rolled over Sela 6-0. Mount Spokane handed Eastmont their lunch 7-1. Davis got by Quincy 2-0. It was Ellensburg and Sunnyside at a 1-1 tie. They don't do overtime if the games don't really count. Ephrata beat Cascade 10-9 over Chelan. Cashmere beat College Place at Vale Elementary School 13-0. They may have scored another goal just while I was talking. And those are just some of the days, some of the games that people are playing. For your obscure holiday, it's celebrated on September 9th every year. It's Teddy Bear Day. It's National Teddy Bear Day. I think people know the origin of the teddy bear back in the early part of the 20th century. Well, Teddy Roosevelt was the president of the United States. He went on a hunting trip, I believe it was in Mississippi, in November of 1902. During the hunt, Roosevelt's attendants cornered, clubbed, and tied a black bear to a willow tree after they had chased it down with their hounds, and then they said, "Okay, Teddy, we got a bear for you to shoot, and you can take it home as a trophy." He took one look at what they did. He said, "That is absolutely wrong. I'm not going to do it." He ordered his assistants to kill the bear because the bear was in bad shape to begin with. He goes, "I don't know what you guys were thinking. I ain't going to do this." And then a guy by the name of Morris Mitchum, after this story became a nationwide, he said, "Hey, I want to make a doll, a teddy bear doll. Name it after Teddy Roosevelt." He wrote the president, "Can I call it a teddy bear?" He said yes. What Roosevelt should have done is ask for royalties. Anyway, that's how the teddy bear would become an American icon, all because Roosevelt would not shoot a bear that had been incapacitated by somebody else. Happy Teddy Bear Day today. It's the bottom of the hour. Today in history, when Christopher Columbus went on his first voyage, in 1492, Isabella gave him 3 ships and 88 men. They came back. Everything was awesome. And Isabella said, "Okay, you want to go again?" And Chris said, "Yeah." And for his second voyage, which began on this date in 1493, Christopher Columbus got 17 ships and 1,200 men. That ain't bad. That means, hey, you did a good job, so we're going to give you some more stuff to do. The stated purpose of the second voyage of Columbus was to convert the locals to Christianity. He was directed by Queen Isabella and Ferdinand to be very friendly to the natives. And they were very friendly to the natives, if you know what I mean. Columbus's second voyage, a lot bigger than his first. They set sail September 9th, 1493. Happy birthday to the United States. Wait a minute, this is July 4th. Well, they named it anyway. September 9th, 1776, 248 years ago, the Continental Congress officially names its new union the United States. Before this time, the term United Colonies was the general term used. They didn't like it. They said the United States is better. They voted on it. They passed it on the state in 1776. There were other proposed names that the Continental Congress kicked around. Columbia, Fredonia, I'm not making that up. Washington Irving proposed Appalachia. Somebody else proposed the United States of North America. And one of the members of the Continental Congress, Peyton Randolph, proposed that the new country be named Bob. But they decided to go with the United States on this date 248 years ago today. Normally when we do states that enter the Union, we throw up the flag and you have to guess what state flag it is. No guessing here, ain't too hard. Happy 174th birthday to California, admitted as the 31st U.S. state on this date in 1850, the Golden State. The economy of California, with a gross state product of $4 trillion, is the largest subnational economy in the world. If California was a country, it would have the 5th largest economy in the world. About 40% of all the goods imported into this country comes through the port of Los Angeles. The San Francisco Bay Area combined statistical area has the nation's highest gross domestic product. They say things cost a lot in San Francisco, but people do make a lot of money there. 1 out of every 9 residents in this country lives in California, and although it accounts for less than 2% of the state's economy, California's agriculture industry has the highest output of any U.S. state. Almost anything that grows in the Great Basin out there in California, they grow it as much or more than anybody. Happy birthday, California. Joined the Union on this date in 1850. You've heard of a computer bug, right? This is the first computer bug. The Harvard Mark II computer on the campus of Harvard University stopped working on September 9th, 1947, and they couldn't figure out why. So they took the computer apart and they found that moth lodged in a relay. That's how the name computer bug came to be. It was literally a bug that crawled inside the hardware. That was on this date 77 years ago today. Considering it was one of the most iconic cultural events of all time, it seems odd that when Elvis Presley first appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show, Sunday, September 9th, 1956, Ed wasn't there. Charles Lawton was the guest host. Ed had been in a serious car accident and was recuperating. Elvis Presley, his very famous first ever appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show after Ed said, "I wouldn't have you." But then, of course, Ed is Ed. He's not an idiot. He wants ratings. The very first time Elvis appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show, and Ed wasn't even there. That was on this date in 1956. And 53 years ago today, the 4-day Attica prison riot begins, September 9th, 1971. There were about 2,200 men incarcerated in Attica. Over half of them rioted and took control of the prison. They took 42 members of the staff hostage. They had demands, as you might imagine. This went on for about 4 days, with various people coming in and out and trying to negotiate a peace. And then Governor Nelson Rockefeller of the state of New York said, "To heck with this. I'm sending in the state and local police to regain the prison, control of the prison." So they went in shooting. When it was all said and done, 43 people were dead, 43, including 10 hostage correctional officers and civilian employees and 33 inmates, all of them except 3 of the 43 who were killed. 40 of them were killed by the state police that were sent in to bring order to Attica on this date, 1971. Birthdays. He didn't start his restaurant until he was 62, so keep that in mind, late bloomers. Colonel Harlan Sanders, born this day in 1890, did a bunch of odd jobs before he stumbled onto the restaurant deal. He had a small little roadside restaurant in North Corbin, Kentucky. It was next to the gas station during the Great Depression. He developed his secret recipe for fried chicken, and he also patented the method of cooking fried chicken in a pressure fryer. And before you know it, everybody wanted Kentucky Fried Chicken. By 1963, he was quite wealthy. It was already being franchised. He didn't want anything to do with it anymore. So he sold the franchise to a couple of investors. He stayed on as a salaried employee. And after he left the company entirely, in his later years, he became highly critical of the food served by Kentucky Fried Chicken. He said they cut costs and allowed quality to deteriorate. He may have been right. I don't know. Colonel Sanders, born in the state in 1890. One more heavenly birthday, the great one, Otis Redding, soul brother #1. Dictionary of Soul, Otis Blue, the immortal Otis Redding, sitting on the dock there. It's all good. It's all good. Otis Redding. Never far from my turntable, Otis Redding. Born in the state in 1941, of course, perished in a plane crash. And finally, my favorite character on Modern Family, by far, is Cameron Tucker, and he's portrayed by Emmy Award winner Eric Stonestreet, who is 53 years old today. Special thanks to our platinum sponsor, Alpine Air. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. You know, we had some pretty dirty air in the valley over the weekend. I wonder how your filters are holding up. If they're not doing so good, the odds are pretty good that Alpine Air can take care of you. That's what they do. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. Mike Mignotti's got an opinion. I loaded it on Friday, so I can't remember what it is. And then, of course, Wednesday will mark the 23rd anniversary of the events of September 11th, 2001. There will be commemoration ceremonies at the Spirit of America Memorial in Kashmir. Doug Jones and Norma Gallegos will be my guest when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Want to stay up to date on the latest news in the area? Tired of paying for your news? Download the NCW Life app now. No subscriptions necessary. Get news, weather, sports, and more live as it happens. Available for iPhone and Android in the App Store. Local news at your fingertips. Don't miss the stories that matter to you. Stay connected. Download the NCW Life app now.
You can be the smartest financial guy in the world, Braden. You can make all kinds of investments that's going to pay off in the short term and the long term for all of your goals to be met. And yet, life is life. Poop happens, because I can't say other words like that on television. You have to be prepared for these things, don't you?
You have to be prepared, and you have to know like what it looks like moving forward too. I look at it as like a board game playing. You have to know what are the other players doing on the board, where are they moving, what's your next move, right? You need to be aware of what's going on around you and where things are at. And I go back to the financial buckets that you have available to you. You need to know what those buckets are. Because there's so many times I sit down with people and they have their money in buckets that do not connect with them at all. They don't align with them. And it's like, why are you putting money into those buckets? It makes zero sense. And then they figure out when we go through our process that it doesn't make sense for them either, but nobody's ever helped them understand that. Because they don't even know some of the other buckets that are available. And that's a big piece of just educating people.
Yeah.
And understanding like, hey, these are all the different buckets, right? From a tax standpoint, there's buckets over here. From a non-tax standpoint, there's buckets, right? Are we doing tax management on your investments? Are we not doing tax management, right? Are we doing a bucket that has deferred growth, or are you paying taxes every year? These are all different types of buckets, right? And it's, are you taxed now? Are you taxed later? Are you taxed, there's so many different ways to look at it. I would rather be taxed never. So there's different buckets of like how you can position that and how you can transfer wealth or how you can live on wealth and money. And I think it's critical, those buckets.
Hi, this is Mike, Mad Dog McNaughty, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, I've got a couple of Marxist friends on Facebook. Well, maybe they're actual commies, I don't know. But, you know, they've been posting stuff about how Russia's President Putin really is a good guy, and it's America's fault that Ukraine was invaded, yada, yada. You know, maybe these people have a point or two, but this attitude is just an example of how we ourselves react. If you like a politician, you're going to support everything he or she does, even if it's something stupid. I mean, look, you can like Putin all you want, but if you deny that the guy's committing war crimes, you're just eroding your own integrity. And you might like Biden or you might like Trump, but if they do something dumb, don't try to tell us that it isn't. Jeez. Oh, gosh. This is Mike, Mad Dog McNaughty, and that's my opinion.
What once was old now is new to the NCW Life channel. Tune in for Bonanza, Superman, The Andy Griffith Show, The Beverly Hillbillies, The Invisible Man, The Lone Ranger, and The Lucy Show. Check your program guide for classic programming on NCW Life channel, your local TV station.
Wednesday will mark the 23rd anniversary of the events that we all are familiar with. If you were old enough to remember, you know what happened on the 11th day of September of 2001. And September 11th has become kind of a day that doesn't really need a year next to it. Got December 7th and November 22nd. And once again, everybody will be gathered here at the Spirit of America Memorial in Kashmir for festivities, reminiscences, ceremonies, what have you, to remember the nearly 3,000 people who lost their lives. This year's president of the Spirit of America committee is our good buddy, Doug Jones. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you.
Thanks for taking time out of your very busy schedule.
Oh, absolutely. No problem.
A little background on Doug. I'm going to toot Doug's modest guy. He's not going to toot his own horn, but I'll tell you this much. Fantastic law enforcement officer for the Wenatchee Police Department. Moved on to security at Central Washington Hospital. Now, of course, he's running Rivercom. And many, many years serving our country in uniform. Even did a tour overseas, as a matter of fact, for a brief period of time. You don't really talk about that part of your career.
No, that was kind of my side career. I was in the Army Reserves for 30 years, retired as a colonel in 2016, and part of that was an activation to Iraq in 2008, 2009. So definitely service is in my heart, and I picked it up from my dad, so appreciate all his influence in my life. So.
Taking over the chairmanship of everything that's going to be happening here on Wednesday, that was kind of an easy thing for you, right?
Yeah, definitely. I've been on the board for probably 8-10 years, and Tom Green had taken the board from when this whole thing started, so a couple years ago I took it from him, and he's still on the board, still a very active member, and we work very closely together. It's a great board.
Every state is getting a Spirit, or either has one or is in the process of getting a Spirit of America Memorial. There'll be 50 of them in 50 states. The Washington State one is right here in Kashmir, and this is maybe the best one from an aesthetic standpoint, from an emotional standpoint. You can't stand on this campus right here where we're at.
Oh no,
and not feel it.
Right. Yeah. No, the elements that we have here, the Twin Towers over here, are always people love to see that and put their hand on those and really remember. I think one of our missions for our committee is to really educate, and a lot of people, as we're finding, are attending our ceremonies or are coming here who don't have a memory like you and I have. So to have all these elements and to really have people come and look and understand what happened that day through experiencing these elements is really important to us.
A generation has now come that either was too young to remember or wasn't even born yet.
Right.
From the events of 23 years ago. And that's really, I think, more than anything, is for those people. We remember the emotions. That is something they're detached from.
Right.
But they can have a general idea of what all of us as Americans went through 23 years ago.
And not only the event, but the years that came after that, and the Afghanistan involvement that we had and everything on that. I mean, all of that was very significant, and it all started with this event here, and Americans rising up and making great sacrifices to continue to secure the rights in the country that we have today. So
on 11 o'clock on Wednesday morning is when the ceremony will begin. I'll call it a ceremony. I'm trying to think if there's any other way to put it. There really isn't. Doug, can you give us a brief run through of what exactly the program is going to be?
Sure. Every year we have the Seattle Pipes and Drums come, so they'll open it up. They have amazing to see them come in, a very solemn and very respectful opening to the ceremony. Civil Air Patrol is going to be coming and doing our presentation of colors. Then we have our guest speaker this year is Hank Kramer. You haven't heard of him. He's I would say a renowned folk singer that lives right up in Winthrop. And so he is also someone that I met in my reserve career several years ago. His story is that he was in the active Army, and he retired or left the Army, and then when 9/11 happened, he came back in as a reservist and wanted to serve his country more after 9/11. So he's definitely got a tie there, but tremendous man, got a lot of experience, and he's going to be our guest speaker. And after he speaks, he's going to share some special music. He's also going to sing our national anthem. So just a very talented and a very good speaker, and a very patriotic man that's going to present for us this year. So
there are some logistic things you need to know about. First of all, it might be a little warm, but it's a little too early to tell yet. You better be prepared for that. Sunglasses, sunscreen, that kind of deal. Also, you need to bring your own chair and a few other odds and ends. Doug, you want to talk about some of the things that people need to know about before they make plans for Wednesday?
Sure. We'll have seating here, but typically there's not enough seating. So so the nice lawn area back here in front of the memorial, if you want to bring your own chairs, that would be great. We always have a really good showing, which is a great testimony to our community and the patriotism and the respect they have for this day and this monument. So we expect a good turnout, and feel free to come down, bring your chairs. We'll have some food here. I think this year we've got some taco wagons that are coming, things like that. I think Norma might talk about that later. But our ceremony kicks off at 11, but we also have the event that Norma will talk about, that is the naturalization ceremony that we're kind of incorporating into the day at 9:30. And then afterwards, we have a very special guest speaker that's going to be talking in the Riverside Center here. And he was a gentleman that was a flight attendant, and he was coming to work that day to actually be on flight 77. And that, of course, that was the flight that ended up crashing into the Pentagon. So he's got a very unique story about telling the story of the flight attendants, which he knew. He also knew one of the pilots on that flight. So he's got a very interesting story that he wants to speak. So he'll be introduced during our ceremony, and then he'll be a guest speaker back in the Riverside Center afterwards for people that want to listen to his story.
Again, it begins at 11 o'clock on Wednesday here at the Spirit of America Memorial. I'm trying to think of the best way to put it. And if you've never been here, you need to be here. We came here a couple of days ago. There were some people here. They were very touched.
Oh yeah.
They were seeing this. This brings people from all over the state.
It does all over the country. I mean, it's really, really amazing. So,
Doug Jones, our good friend, and we're looking forward to seeing you on Wednesday. As you mentioned before, our friend Norma Gallegos, our mutual friend from Hand to Hand Immigration Services, she will be here, and they're going to swear in a whole bunch of brand new American citizens during the events here on Wednesday. And we're going to talk to Norma when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Thank you for trusting Appy's legendary pizza for 60 years. Your hard-earned money supports hundreds of youth working at our parlors, dozens and dozens of nonprofits and school teams throughout the area. At Appy's, doing good in the neighborhood has never tasted so delicious. Can you smell it? It's not arugula and pear. It's bacon, and cheddar. Yep, everybody's favorite pizza is back on sale this month at Abby's, loaded with 2 kinds of bacon and real cheddar cheese. Enjoy Abby's September special at a very special price.
Hello, 3 tickets, please.
Oh, the Discovery Center is free to visit.
So you're telling me we could look at the fish for free?
Yep, that's free.
But how much is it to drive the steamboat?
Todo es gratis.
So you're telling me that we could go play on the playground?
Still free.
It's free.
Exactly. Gratis, gratis, gratis. The Discovery Center at Rocky Beach. It's free.
Welcome back to the program. Norma Gallegos is a really good, cool, wonderful human being whose heart is so big. I don't know even how it stays inside her body. And for the last number of years, Norma has been running the Hand to Hand Immigration Services Group. It's a nonprofit that helps people who want to become American citizens become an American citizen, and Norma will be the first one to tell you it ain't easy. I mean, it's a maze of things that one person needs to go through to become an American citizen. But if you're dedicated and you want to live in America and be a part of the American fabric, they're willing to do it, and you help them along the way. Talk about your organization.
Yes, Hand in Hand Immigration Services, as you mentioned, is a nonprofit organization accredited by the Department of Justice to facilitate the immigration work, which could be very complicated for many. And our specialty is helping people become citizens. As we know, currently in Washington State only, we have over 250,000 Washingtonians eligible to become citizens. That means those people are walking around with a green card and perhaps for one reason or another have not become citizens. And that's why we are here. And yes, there are different steps to that. People have to be eligible. They have to qualify, attend our classes. We have different locations where we teach our classes by volunteers. And once people have gone through the courses, they have to file their documentation, go pay the fee, go through their criminal background, and pass all the civics and reading and writing, the complicated different questioning from the moment they cross the border to today. And the majority of the folks that we facilitate have been here in this valley for 20, 30 plus years. And we have covered between Chelan, Douglas, Okanogan counties, have facilitated over 50 naturalization ceremonies.
If you've lived here for 20, 30 years and you're not an American citizen and you're eligible to become an American citizen, what prevents people from doing it? What holds them back?
That's a really good question. That's why we should forever be thankful to Immigration Services for coming out of their comfort zone and giving information. We do numerous sessions where even USCIS themselves, last month they were in Leavenworth and then we were in Chelan. They come out and talk about that. Why are people not becoming citizens? There are different reasons. The majority are lack of information. Perhaps somebody that's been here legally for over 20 years, over the age of 50, not necessarily that they have to take the test in English. They actually qualify to take the test in their primary language. They still have to learn the 100 questions about civics and U.S. government. So there's different ways that people qualify. Perhaps they never went to school, so their courses and classes might be more complicated. So different reasons. So that's why going out and explaining to people certainly encourages them to become citizens.
People associate your organization with helping those of Hispanic descent become American citizens. That is a misnomer. That is so wrong. Let's fix that problem right now. That's not the truth.
Correct. And I'm learning that myself as well. You know, I'm from Mexico with dual citizenship. I consider myself bilingual. I did not know that. We have a very large number with this work. We have helped many people from India, from the Philippines, many from Vietnam.
I think a couple from Russia.
Russia, Africa. So you'll see different countries will be here represented. And even within our vicinities, I'm learning that Apple Valley, people from Mexico are the majority from the beautiful state of Oaxaca. Our guest speaker that has been invited by USCIS is Mr. Alfonso Lopez, who has a great story. So there's a story with every person. So if you've never been to an oath ceremony, don't miss it. It is such a special moment because every person has a story and they lived among us, and it gives us the liberty to give them the opportunity to engage more and be proud. And those of us that support their work and their lives with honor, come and see and witness the joy that those people have to celebrate their citizenship.
Not only do they want to be American citizens, but they want to give back to the community that gave them so much, and they become vibrant part of the entire Wenatchee Valley, the fabric. They just don't, it's not lip service. They're doing it.
And that is correct. And that's one of the things that we make sure people understand. What are the benefits? There are many benefits, but if you don't know what those are, why would you even want to be a citizen? And also getting people informed, if people are carrying a green card, which is called a permanent resident card, it's not really permanent. It has an expiration date, and it has all kinds of different policies that follow. So becoming a U.S. citizen, one of the biggest benefits, I believe, traveling freely with an American passport. So there's so many of those benefits that come with that. So if you or anyone you know out there has met someone that perhaps might need information, send them our way. We are located at 119 on South Miller Street, right across from Washington Park, or call our offices. We have Facebook. There's many ways that people can also help and facilitate those within our community.
You like your work a lot, don't you?
I do,
yeah.
With passion, because I understand as an immigrant myself, our family immigrated, and there's so much need out there for people to be informed And again, only qualifying to become a U.S. citizen are those folks that can prove that they've been here legally for at least 5 years.
Real quickly, we're running out of time. Talk about Wednesday here at the Spirit of America Memorial. You're going to be swearing in some new American citizens. Talk about what you have planned for Wednesday.
Where our USCIS field office in Yakima has elected 30 people that will be here, and the director will be doing that here live. Most of the majority of the folks are between the age of 18 to the age of 90. So there's people from different areas, different countries. One of the reasons that we want to do it publicly so people can also honor this day that was tragically something that we should never, ever forget. And that is part of the test. One of the questions, I believe is question number 86, is what major tragedy occurred on September 11, 2001? And there's many questions that a lot of us take for granted. So you'll see people with different faces, different backgrounds, different stories, but they all have gone through this screening 8th step to be here and do that in front of, and that's the last thing they do. And right away, we encourage them to also vote, give them that voice and that opportunity. So there'll be many emotional moments, different colors, different countries, different people with a different story.
What's a good day for Norma Gallegos? We'll close with that. When you're done for the day, and you know I had a good day. What does a good day consist for you?
Every day. Every day is a good day for me, because if I go home and I don't feel like I had made a difference or done my best or helped someone in some way or form, that means I can't go to sleep. So I wear different hats and different sombreros accordingly, but I believe that every day for me has been a productive day doing this kind of work.
To recap what our good friend Doug Jones mentioned, it begins at 11 o'clock, the ceremonies. You'll want to be here earlier. Parking is, it can be fairly congested. It's not a bad idea to bring your own chair, as Doug already mentioned. They'll have chairs, but they can never have enough chairs. Be prepared to probably shed a tear or two as well, and meet 30 new American citizens, which to me is a great way to end it, in that uplifting, spiritual kind of way.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
The way to do it. Thank you, Nora. It's so good to see you. Don't be a stranger. Come by.
Thank
you know where to find me.
Thank you so much.
You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back. $70 degrees here in the Wenatchee Valley. We'll be in the upper 80s anyway before this day is over, but this is the last of the really warm days. We didn't quite get as hot as the National Weather Service was predicting because we had all that dirty, hazy air come up from the south, those wildfires burning in southern Oregon and southwestern Idaho. We showed you the slide on Friday, the satellite image of all that smoke coming up. That's what kept the temperatures down a little bit. It's still pretty, they got some dirty air in some locations. 129 is the AQI in Winthrop right now. That's unhealthy for sensitive groups. Brewster, you're at 106 unhealthy for sensitive groups. Everybody else is in the moderate range. We're at 75 on the AQI scale. But there is a system that's knocking on their door right off the coast of Washington State. It's got some cooler marine air. It's going to start rolling in. Going to knock the big ridge of high pressure out of here. It's going to head elsewhere, and that means more temperate and more comfortable temperatures. It's going to start feeling like autumn, because it hasn't for the last few weeks. From the National Weather Service, high of about 89. We'll see some sunshine as well. The haze burns off as the day progresses. Partly cloudy and 59 for the overnight low tonight. It's going to be a little breezy today, a little breezy tonight. Not so windy on Tuesday. Now we start talking maybe about a little bit of rain on Wednesday. It's certainly going to be cloudy and a lot cooler with a high of 71. Our normal high is 80, so it's going to start feeling like autumn. And then we go right back to sunshine, but much cooler and much more comfortable temperatures Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and into the weekend. Have yourself a great Monday. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.